Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. In today's podcast, it's on Friday, so I have no idea what we're going to be talking about because we talked about groupies. Yeah, how to deal with that, how to handle of that situation, but also talking about setting up boundaries based on past situation, looking at where do we go from here. What did I learn so far? What I have learned so far in my life. Looking back at the past several months, the past year, the past 3 years. Looking back and how far I have come. How much my life has changed from living my little cozy life in my condo to be displaced somewhere else and really adjusting to the changes. Again, when you're being forced in some of the changes that's supposed to happen and you're like, holy crap, I'm holding on tight to the boat in the middle of that raging river that is my life, holding on to dear life, making sure the pups are safe and I am safe in a place where it is a safe place. Being in a transition, having gone to 3 transitions, because this is the last transitions and I'm doing right now, from a hotel room to a place was not the ideal place actually for a month, and happened to where I'm at today. Looking at the instability and being able to realize that changes are bound to happen. It is part of our lives. And when you need to do a 380 or 360 or 180, the universe will make you do it. And you like it or not, this is what is best for you. Yes, I know, easy said than done. And we can believe in anything we want to believe. Some days are harder than others. But you have to understand that those changes are essential if we need to move the direction from where we were to where we need to be. The trajectory we are encountering as every level, every stages of a journey is necessary to get to where you want to be. When you set an intentions, let's say that I'm working in corporate world and I'm just I don't know, an associate of something, and I'm looking to maybe becoming more of a leader to that leader role, then it's not gonna happen from I'm gonna be an associate to I'm gonna be a leader right here right now overnight. It's gonna have to have a lot of things happening. Let's say that the universe said, okay, you want to be where you are to a leader. Now, this is not going to be in this company, so we're going to make you change. It could be an abrupt change. Let's say that there is some laid off going on, so you're going to be laid off, and the opportunity you've got is applying for a job that has more of a leadership positions, going to get you to the next step to bring you where you need to be. The flexibility to do that, it requires us, and not everybody is equipped to do this, okay? We all love our little routines. I love my little routines, which is walking with my pups every morning. I do that. I have done that for years, since I got them, actually, 5 years ago. I have been walking every single day. At least I used to do that 4 times a day. 3 or 4 times a day, depends on the day, with the pups. Now I do it once in the morning because they have a space, they have a yard where they can run. It's an enclosed one, so they go in and out and they're having a lot of fun. But we do have our morning routines where, to me, is the time where I record my TikTok and my Insta for the word of the day. Today was a weird one, I must say. But I recorded it and I'm like, well, Emma, today's a weird one. It's weird, but that's okay. It's like, that's fine. There is some days the word of the day is like, there is no word of the day at all. It's just talking and it's like, oh, I'm done recording. I passed the 15 second or the minute and like, oh, already done. That's fine. It's in a can. Let's send it. Let's save it. It's just fine. But you have to learn to be flexible, because if your dreams is to modify, to change, to become maybe your own entrepreneurs, doing your own little business on the side, then you have to learn to be flexible and say, okay, I need to go there. What is it going to take me? Well, let the universe help you along the way. That journey is going to be an interesting journey, but flexibility and being open-minded will help you to achieve what you want to accomplish. It sounds a little crazy, but you will see how synchronicity works with you. You work in partnership with the universe. And I don't care if you believe it or not in the universe, but synchronicity will come always and help you. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not in the universe again. Like I said, observe. I have witnessed, because I looked back, it's from where from sometimes when you do too much gesture, you can hit your microphone, and I just did it over and over. So sorry about that. So when you're looking at, like I've done, at where I've been for the past few years, it's not to dwell over it. It's to look at the path, looking at how many changes, the hurdle, but it's the changes that came within myself. How much growth. And what came out of my habits that have changed as well. Yes, I'm still doing my routine in the morning, unless it's pouring dogs and cats outside, and it's like, Lulu is not going to go outside. Maka is like, not happening, sister, unless you have a big umbrella. Even with a big umbrella, you better to get boots, because I do not want to wet my paws. Daddy will say, I don't give a crap. I can go outside when it's raining. I'm fine. But you have to think of, I have to be flexible. One, that did it took me to start my little job on the side? What did it took me to write the blogs and see what I was asking? Like I've in past podcasts have provided some very interesting thoughts. Like when I was looking at doing my blogs, right? I'm not a writer. I don't pretend to be Hemingway. I just write because I feel that the need to share my story again. And I'm using my other hand now, and I'm hitting the microphone with my left hand. What is going on here? So, sharing your story. I would have known I would have been published in magazines. But I always said, it would be nice if I can write a book, or, writing a book would be awesome. Well, I ended up collaborating in a couple of books, which was a compilation of stories, blah, blah, blah. But it's still publication. I'm like, this is cool. Looking at my podcast, I know I've been quiet since last year. So the thousands and thousands of people listening my podcast, well, if you don't, again, continue and do your podcast on a regular basis, what happened? Your audience will disappear, which is normal. If you don't publish new episodes, people are not going to follow you. But it's looking at that, looking at the collaboration I have done, looking at going live on Wisdom. And then the other one, I forgot the other app I was on. But it's very interesting to see the evolution from being, yes. And I'm not cutting this, actually. I like to do this because at least you understand that I'm not cutting and faking it and mixing it in a way it's theatrical. No. We're doing raw podcast here for the universe. But being your own self and seeing that the way I started mine was crazy. Because most people, they have two co-hosts, actually. Because people are more in fears to be behind a microphone by themselves and talking. So me, I went the opposite, the hardest way you could do, meaning by myself behind my microphone, just like, oh, well, I'm going to start to talk. And I did it for years, which was amazing because this taught me to be comfortable with my own self and telling stories. And at the beginning, I had my own little juju that I was doing at the beginning, like my little dance, like, I'm going to light up a candle, I'm going to do this. Now I just plug the microphone and it's like, okay, let's see what we're going to be talking about today, blah, blah, blah. Years later, so you're like comfortable and it's like, okay, I'm going to start a conversation. I don't know what it is, but we're going to be talking about something today. So being able to do this, then having the possibilities to go on Wisdom app, because for me it's the incubator, and I encourage everybody who you want to start to talk live, go on Wisdom. It's a free app and it's your incubator. It teaches you how to speak with people, because me behind my microphone by myself, great. I learned it. Don't speed up when you're talking so people can understand you. Be mindful. You don't want to say things you don't want to say. Now, you add one more layer, which is the live effects, which teaches you a lot of things. One, you never know who's going to be listening to you. Two, you cannot stop, listen and erase anything. What is live is live. What is gone. That's it. So learn that, oh, I'm going to go live. What am I going to do? Well, I'm not going to be pissed off, because if I'm pissed off, I'm not going to go live, because I do not want a ranting or a crazy things like you hear once in a while. It's like, holy crap, what happened with that person? No, you don't. The other factor, because it's a live audience, you don't even know who you're going to talk to. And I talk to a ton of people. So you could have somebody who would be in the opposite side of what you're talking about. And it's how you handle, how do you have conversation with different people. That was a very interesting thing for me, because it continued to bring that communication and refining the communication when you're talking with people who have their own mind, their own views, which is great. You agree, you disagree, that's okay if you disagree. But it was interesting for me because you really made me think about everything. So I really appreciate that. The other thing as well is being after that, I had the privilege to start from my business interviews, and I was interested to interview entrepreneurs because I wanted to know their stories. How did you get started? I never sent, and I said to people, my podcast is not based on Hollywood style, all polish. I'm going to send you the question. You're going to answer my question. Not at all. This is a conversation. A lot of people were like, what? I'm not getting question. I said, no, I'm not giving you the question. I said, if you listen to my podcast, it's a conversation to know who you are. It's not only about the business, but it's who you are. What is your inspiration? Because when you're listening to people who started their businesses, I know some people are intimidated and they're like, oh my God, I will never do that. But when you listen to all of the stories and all of the people that I interview through the years, you will understand how they got started, and they can be an inspiration for you. And maybe you encounter something that they went through and how they resolve it. For me, it's always in relation or related to. Have you ever heard a story? You're in a supermarket to somewhere, and you're in line and you're waiting, and somebody is telling a story that happened to them, and you're like, holy crap, it is about similar situation than where I'm in. And you're listening to them on how they resolve it, what they overcome. And you're like, oh my God, they gave me a solution to a problem that I have. For me, interviewing them was easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. And I enjoyed to do it very much because I never asked or provided them a question, but you really show who they truly were. Because when you own a business, the business is yours. It's an extension of your own self. So it's nice to know who's behind the business. It's nice to understand who they are, who you are, and also provide you more defined and refined, I would say, answers and inspiration, because you will realize a lot of people in their 40s, 50s are starting their business. It's not in their 20s, because I heard it many, many times, and that really irritates the life out of me. Oh, well, they're young, they can do it. I'm too old. I'm like, well, if you're too old, why don't you start to dig a hole in the ground and we're done? Stop saying you're too old, because you're aging yourself. We are capable. KFC, the colonel over there who did KFC, he was in his 60s when he started that franchise, when he started that business. Look at where they are right now. You don't have to be 20 to start your business. And that was for me the point as well, to interview people and other business owners to hear what they had to say. I have a passion to do that. That for me, it's talking and for people to discover all of this, because it's not easy to be a business owner, but it helps to understand that those individuals have sweat bullet. We all do. We maybe have sleepless night. We maybe feel frustrated because we don't have what we want on hand. Maybe we're feeling that, well, this is not what we wanted, or, well, that is not everything we needed. So, think about it. Think about where you are in your life. Think about what you want to do, and love to do this. Love to do what you're doing. And if you're not happy in your life, look what you can do different. Having a hobby, having a passion, really, for me, I was looking a few years ago when I was at Corn Ferries, working over there. And when I was talking to my boss over there, when he was talking to me, and he was asking me, because people didn't know what I was doing, and asking me what I would be doing for the weekend. And I'm like, well, I got my podcast to do, and I have my blogs to write. And I said, yeah, I have a book that I'm collaborating on right now, and it's coming out next month, blah, blah, blah. And his jaw dropped, because he thought I was doing nothing on weekends, and he realized, well, she got a lot to do on weekends. She doesn't have weekends. No, I did not. And realizing when I was talking to him, I came to the realization I had a lot of passions: the passion to do my podcast, the passion to write the blogs, the passion to collaborating in that book. For me, was a hobby. And they were like, you know what? I finally found some balance in my life. I wasn't liking anything, and I was enjoying it. I was enjoying what I was doing. Even at work, I enjoyed it very well. But it's the passion. So even though if you're maybe not ready to have your own business, maybe you can do a hobby. Maybe you can put something you have a passion about it in motions. Again, it doesn't need to turn to be a business. It could be a passion of yours. I love gardening. Seeing beautiful dahlias growing, because I love dahlias. I discovered dahlias 2 years ago, and I fell in love with dahlias, which were amazing flowers, are amazing flowers. My goodness gracious, they have such the most amazing colors. Just unbelievable. But it's the passion. So what is your passion? What do you want to do? And again, it doesn't have to cost thousands of dollars. Even when I was bored, quote unquote, and I said, well, what can I do? I couldn't change the entire condo, but I started to change my condo before it burned to a crisp. Yay! I painted a room. It brightened up the entire house. It felt good. Even changing the furniture places was just like, holy crap, felt better. Restoring furnitures, or do something very simple that will make your day. What do you love to do? So look at what you want to do and look at where it takes you. As I said, for me, even the cooking, I was laughing with a friend of mine, Christiane, and I was saying, we should have a cooking show. And she said, yeah, you should, because you're pretty good at what you're doing. Well, I'm doing something for the MMC, which is the Meta Meditation Center. And I do some of cooking once a while into that center for specific things. But it's funny because you don't see me cooking, but you see the result, because I put it on their Facebook, what I'm recording, etc., etc. But it's very interesting because you see the transformation. Said, well, I was thinking I should have a cooking show. Well, my cooking show is on Facebook. Here we go. Look at what you put out there and what's happening in reality. You will be amazed. So be inspired. What do you want to do? And it could be something simple. Put it out there and see how far you're going to go with it. Trust me, it's very, very interesting because I've said and I've noticed a couple of things and I'm like, holy crap, everything I said so far, I put out, it comes out one way or the other. And I'm like, holy crap, can it get any better than that? So think about where you are in your life. Think about what you want to do and make things happen because nobody else's will. So this was my podcast for today. And this is the last podcast of the week. Yay! We don't know what we're going to be talking about next week. But who knows? We'll see. All my love, guys. And I will talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Aimless Universe Podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Aimless Universe Podcast. Universe Podcast.